Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So Social Security beneficiaries are set to receive right around $2,000 checks according to recent estimates, plus some good news about the upcoming Social Security cost of living adjustment increase that was previously expected to be delayed. Now it looks like they might actually have this on time, or actually maybe sooner than expected, if not on time. But before we go ahead and dive into it for today, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then just simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so we are now officially on day 10 of the government shutdown, and the Senate has pretty much officially given up this week in reaching a deal. Republicans and Democrats are not going to be reaching a deal by the end of this week. In fact, they've actually left DC and gone home to their home states for the weekend, and they were set to return either the 12th or 13th next week, where at that point they will reconvene and maybe they'll just continue voting on the same exact bills that they have been voting on and continue to, vote against them and, not reach a deal and not get 60 votes on either of those bills. And we'll have to see how long this government shutdown continues to stretch on. Now, because of that, of course, we had certain government services not functioning, such as the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And because services like the Bureau of Labor Statistics were not functioning in collecting data, that also means for Social Security beneficiaries a delay in receiving what they would know as far as their cost of living adjustment increase for next year, because we still need those inflation numbers for September. Now, the inflation numbers for September are set to be released on October 15th. That's just 5 days from now. But since the Bureau of Labor Statistics is effectively shut down because of the government shutdown, we were expecting a delay in the release of those numbers. But we actually have some pretty surprising news in today's video, as the Trump administration has announced they're going to start staffing the BLS. So we do have those inflation numbers released, maybe on time, and if not on time, obviously a lot sooner than what it would have been if we just continue not having them staffed at all. So first off here, according to CNN, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is calling some staff back to work to prepare its closely watched inflation gauge, the Consumer Price Index report, despite the government shutdown, a Trump administration official told CNN. The latest CPI data was previously scheduled for release on October 15th. It's unclear whether the report will still be released next week or delayed amid the shutdown. The Trump official told CNN that the data would be published before November 1st, since that is the deadline to publish the annual increase for Social Security payments, and the September CPI data is needed to calculate the adjustment. So obviously that is great news. Again, they're not guaranteeing that even though staff are being called back to work for these numbers, that it will now be announced on time. There could still be a delay, maybe by a few days, but a few days late certainly beats maybe 3 or 4 weeks late. Now they go on here to say that the BLS has stopped all operations since October 1st, when the government's funding lapsed. Only one employee was assigned to continue working full-time at the Bureau throughout the shutdown, according to contingency plans released by the U.S. Department of Labor, which oversees the Bureau. This meant that data collection and analysis were effectively halted. The Trump official told CNN that without the CPI data, the annual increase to Social Security benefits, which takes effect in January, could be impacted. Social Security benefits continue to be distributed during the shutdown, and as a result, more staff will be called back into work on an as-needed basis to complete the September CPI report. Last week, the BLS did not release its monthly jobs report, which usually comes out on the first Friday of every month. So again, even though anyways you wouldn't receive your cost of living adjustment increase until January of next year, 2026, It's still set to be announced on October 15th. This is something that happens every single year, something we have to look forward to at some point in the middle of October. So for this to be pushed off until the middle of November or even early December would be a little bit disappointing. So we are hoping now that staff are being called back to work on the inflation numbers for the month of September. Let's hope now they are able to release this report on time on October 15th. Now, as far as estimates go for all Social Security beneficiaries next year, for retirees anyways, it looks like the average check is going to be right around $2,050 a month. And then as far as all Social Security beneficiaries combined, including people receiving disability payments, SSI, Social Security retirement, looks like the average is going to be right around $1,900 per month next year. So according to the Motley Fool, the average American Social Security benefit is higher than ever. In fact, a few months ago, the average retired worker's Social Security check surpassed $2,000 for the first time ever, and it continues to climb slightly. With the 2026 Social Security COLA set to take effect in January, it's fair to say that the average Social Security check is about to get even bigger. Here's what we know so far, what we don't know, and what to expect the average Social Security benefit will be in 2026. So first off, here is what we know according to the Motley Fool. So first off, what we do know is that just over 70 million people collect a Social Security benefit. As of the latest information, we know that the average beneficiary gets right around $1,865 per month. And we also know that the average for each subgroup of beneficiaries, for example, the average retired worker gets $2,008 per month, while the average Social Security disability insurance payment is $1,446 per month. We also have a solid estimate of what the 2026 Social Security cost of living adjustment will be. According to the Senior Citizens League, the 2026 COLA is expected to be 2.7%, although it definitely could be as high as 2.8%. Wouldn't be a big difference. This means that starting with the payment received in January, Social Security benefits should be 2.7% higher than they are in 2025. Using the current amounts along with the estimated COLA allows us to get a good idea of what Social Security benefits will be next year. Now, as far as what we don't know so far, again, according to the Motley Fool, before we go any further, it's worth pointing out that there are a couple of important pieces of information that we don't know yet. So first off, the 2.7% COLA estimate is just that, an estimate. The COLA is based on third quarter consumer price index inflation data, and the last month of the third quarter hasn't been officially released yet, and it might actually be delayed, as we mentioned just a moment ago. We also don't know what the average benefit will be at the end of this year, just before the increase takes effect. As of this writing, the latest information tells us the average benefits as of August. So as far as the number of beneficiaries in each subgroup, we have retired workers, we have spousal benefits, we have survivors benefits, and we have disability benefits. So first off, the biggest cohort there are retirees at 53.3 million beneficiaries, with the expected average next year coming in right around $2,063 a month. As far as spousal benefits, the average is expected to be $981 per month next year in 2026. As far as survivors benefits go, next year in 2026, the average benefit is expected to be right around $1,618 a month. And then as far as disability benefits, the average disability benefit next year is expected to come in right around $1,485 a month, with that 2.7% increase. So all in all, as far as average out of all of those cohort groups, is expected to be right around $1,915 a month. So I say that to make a long story short, we can reasonably expect the average Social Security check in 2026 for the 70 million people who receive them will be $1,915 per month. But of course, this is before Medicare Part B premiums or any taxes are deducted, which can certainly make a difference. Now, as far as next year goes, it looks like the Medicare Part B premium is going to be rising by right around $21.50 per month next year in 2026. So obviously that's going to impact your increase. If you're expected to receive an increase of right around $50 per month, but your Medicare Part B premium is also going to be rising by $21.50 per month next year, that almost cuts your increase in half there. But with that said, that's all we have for today's video. Leave your thoughts and comments below about next year's increase. What are your thoughts about it? Are you happy with it? Are you not happy with it? Leave your thoughts and comments below. But that's all we have for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.